So in this video, I'm going to take you through step by step how I fix someone's OP over Zoom. Now, this is going to be a long video, so buckle up and just don't be afraid to put me on 2-speed or 1.5 speed, although I do tend to talk pretty fast. Okay, so for most people, they're going to start their journey with me with a biomechanical assessment. Now, in this session, you're going to send me a history of what you've been through and what's going on with your case, so we don't have to waste time explaining it to me. And you're also going to send me a recording of you performing a biomechanical assessment. Now, in this assessment, it's going to be 5 basic movements that aren't going to seem that complicated, but that are going to highlight to me how your pelvis likes to function. Now, if you haven't watched a lot of my other content, I really need you to understand that OP is not an injury like an ACL tear or a broken bone where you did something at some point in time and then you strained the area and you're waiting for it to heal. OP is an injury where your mechanics that you do every single day when you get out of bed, when you walk to the toilet, where everything that you do with your pelvis is bad. It involves bad mechanics that is overloading the pelvis. So your pelvis never gets a chance to heal. And these mechanics are with you all day, every day. And this biomechanical assessment is going to show you that. And the reason why this is so important is that if you're thinking, oh, I just need to rest and maybe do a few exercises, strengthen this area, that's just not the case. And you need to watch some of my videos so you can understand that. Because with this biomechanical assessment, I will highlight how every single one of your movements, every moment of every day is overloading your pelvis. And if you're resting from your activity that you love, whether it's chasing your kids, going for walks, playing soccer, running at a high level, if you're resting from that, you're probably feeling a bit better because you're not overloading your pelvis as dramatically. But the second you start ramping up those activities, your pelvis will feel better because you haven't been overloading it so much, but that pain will come back. Whether it's a day, a week, a month, it will come back. And I will be able to highlight this to you through the basic actions that you perform every day that are bad and poor. And I'll highlight it by showing what you do when you lift up your leg or you raise up on your toes and what I do when I do that. Now, with this understanding, it should come clear how in order for you to get better, you need to address those basic biomechanics. And that's what we want to really achieve from this biomechanical assessment. And you'll have opportunity to ask me questions and to discuss your case. And I'll want to know what you're really anxious about. But at the end of the day, if you want to start working with me, it really needs to be clear to you why these biomechanics need to change and how if they don't, you won't ever get better. So assuming you decide to go ahead with the program, you'll book in, you'll sign a waiver, and once you've done that, and I've seen it, I will then send you your homework spreadsheet. And within that, there will be a bucket load of videos that'll basically take you through a bunch of content to get you started to get better. Now, it's totally up to you if you want to get started or if you want to wait for that first session, but I am a big believer in empowering patients to try to fix themselves. At the end of the day, we will spend 45 minutes together in a session. It's what you do outside of that that will get you better. And your life might not allow you to watch every single video, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that so that when we step into that session, we are just going to perform the exercises that I've already provided you the videos to. Now, what's important about the session and what I don't get to just give you the videos and sit on a beach and sip Mai Tais is because you're going to make very specific mistakes that are caused by those ingrained mechanics that are so hard to fix that cause your OP. And what I'll do is I'll record you performing these exercises and I'll draw on the screen and I'll make you understand the kind of mistakes that you specifically are going to make that are going to stop you from getting stronger and fixing your OP. And what you need to understand is it's the things that you do during the week outside of that session that's going to make you get better. So what really then happens after the session is most important and is where all the magic happens. 2 days after your session, you're going to need to send me videos of you performing the exercises we covered in session. And the reason for this is that I have zero faith that you're going to be able to replicate the exercises we performed. That's why I have the exercise videos. So if you forget something, you can watch over them. I also record the sessions, which I strongly encourage you to re-watch over after each session, because that's where I give you those specific cues to help you fix your specific mistakes. But I have zero faith that even with all that you're going to be getting things correct. So 2 days after that, you will submit those videos of you performing those exercises, and I will then complete a video review where I'll draw on the screen and I'll annotate and I'll explain and I'll provide you with notes so that you understand exactly the mistakes you're making that are still overloading your pelvis, and so that your rehab is actually, you're doing it right, so you can actually change the cause of your OP. And you're either going to be fixing mistakes after that, after I provide you that review, or ideally, you might have been crushing those exercises. You might have crushed that body squat that we performed or that core exercise. And if that's the case, I don't want to hold you back in that. I don't want you waiting till next week to to further your progress, what you need to understand, if you haven't watched the video on this, I strongly recommend you do it. Your OP isn't there because you're weak, because your core is weak. You have OP because your movement patterns aren't coordinated enough. And so while something like a squat or a deadlift is a great exercise, it's really just a stepping off point. It's not complex enough to translate into the things like walking and running and the dynamic things that you do in the real world. So while in a session, we'll cover something basic. When you get it right, I will immediately move you on during the week to the next set of exercises. And so that you can keep furthering along and developing the complexity of your movement so it'll actually translate to the real world. So either two things is going to happen in that video review. You're going to make mistakes in your exercises. I'm going to provide you the answers of how to fix them. Or you're going to be crushing it. I'm going to move you further forward. Either way, you're pushing the ball down the field towards getting better. Now, again, I don't really have a lot of faith that even with those corrections that you're actually going to get them right again. So what I will then do next is you will then send me those videos again 2 days after it in the second review. And in that second review, I will do the same thing. I'll either correct your mistakes or I'll move you forward into the next set of variations. And that way we can make sure that you are constantly doing the right things to get better. And what you need to understand is that OP is a brutally hard condition to fix. There is a reason that you are looking at this right now, because I'm betting you that you've already seen a physio locally and they weren't able to fix you. You might have seen 3 or 4. So you need this degree of intensity to fix OP. There's no other way to do it that I know of. So after that second set of reviews, you'll then be in for a session 2 days later. So every second day, we will be on top of this, making sure that you are doing the things that you need to do to get better. And then that second week, it's just rinse and repeat in that second session, where essentially I will then move you on to another module, another set of things. So in that first session, you might have been really working hard on your foot to glute connection, right? And then that's what you were trying to improve during that whole week. And then hopefully by the end of the week, you've made a good deal of progress on that, which then allows us to move on to a second module, like your breathing to core activation or your oblique chain coordination or something like that. And then we will cover the basics of that in that session with the hope and idea that in that first review in the second week, you'll send me the videos and you'll be crushing it, and I can move you further along in that module and progress you further, or again, give you the corrections that you need to make sure that you're doing things right to keep moving further. And what you really need to grasp is that human movement is incredibly complex. The real world is incredibly dynamic and variable. So what you do in the gym, you need to do things that are 10 times harder than what you're going to face in the real world. If you just want to be walking and you want to be moving, well then guess what? You're going to have to still lift heavy weights, and you're still going to have to do things to strengthen you, to deal with all the little undulations if you go walking on a trail, to deal with all the ways that you might need to go grab your kid off the ground in a different angle, because it's going to be way harder than anything you do in the gym unless you make the things in the gym really, really difficult. And if you're a soccer player or you're a marathon runner, then that applies tenfold. So what we'll keep doing week after week is tackling different systems of your body that you're failing at. You'll be good at some of those things and you'll fly through them. It won't take me a lot of time. I won't waste time working on something. If you're good on it, I will immediately move you on to the next thing. Or if you're struggling on it, that's what we'll spend time with. And what you understand is sometimes people feel like it's okay, one stage, 1 week. No. It is, we go at the pace that you can go at. So if you can watch your videos beforehand, if you can get a lot of work done, well then we can get through things faster. If you don't, that's okay. If you're struggling, you're going to need my help. It's going to take longer. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, what you need to understand is it's the intensity. It's that detailed approach. It's being incredibly methodical that gets you better. You will need to perform hundreds and hundreds of different exercises and different variations to properly fix your OP, not just 5 or 10. So if that is something that sounds good to you, if this kind of intensity is something that you're desperate for, if you want to really make sure that you get better with a therapist like me who's just not going to let up on you, then sign up. This is the thing you need to do. And if you're not ready, that's okay too. Go see your other options. Go get some other treatment. And if that works, great. I'm super happy for you. I don't want you to have to go through this if you don't have to. But if that hasn't worked and you are ready to actually do the things to get better, then yeah, jump in and let's get started.